let me explain what perturbation therapy is with a little story. I grew up in a town called Kimberley in South Africa, and they have diamond mines there. And whilst I was growing up, I became fascinated with how diamonds are formed. It's pretty amazing that something as dark and ugly as coal can be transformed into something brilliant like a diamond. As a kid, I used to get dragged off to the mine museum, and there would be this guy that would lecture us all about these kimberlite pipes. And these pipes were always formed by a volcanic eruption. And they were quite wide at the top, and they would become narrower at the bottom, like a little container. And this container would extend deep into the Earth's crust. Now, thousands of diamonds were produced inside these pipes under extreme heat and pressure. And in fact, Kimberley had one of the biggest deposits of diamonds worldwide. So what on earth does this have to do with your divorce? Well, studying how nature works and how organisms evolve under great pressure gives us some insights into how you might transform under pressure too. To explain more about how this impacts dealing with divorce, let's look at how this dark, ugly coal transforms into a diamond. So the coal and diamonds are of course both primarily carbon. For coal to become a diamond, the carbon atoms have to be rearranged into a new pattern. To change the atomic ordering of coal into a diamond requires massive amount of heat and pressure, like temperatures over 1,000 degrees Celsius and many, many thousands of atmospheric pressure. To ensure the coal does not disintegrate in the process of this change, it requires a strong container holding it together whilst this immense pressure and heat is applied, or the coal actually breaks up into dust. So if the coal is held together in this strong container, the heat actually breaks down the current bonds to free up the carbon atoms and energizes them into making something even more hardcore, and voila, a diamond is formed. A kimberlite pipe is just such a container, and not only does it hold the coal together, it can handle a volcanic eruption, which is so violent that it carries up the coal fragments and rapidly cools them to preserve as diamonds. In the same way as coal is transformed into a diamond, this type of perturbation exists for human beings as well. And I've studied trauma therapy for close to a decade, and before any transformation can happen, the participant must be contained. Basically, all the work we do, we spend about 90% of our time stabilizing and containing our clients so they can withstand the inquiry into transformation. In my experience, without a proper container, the change usually goes very badly, and this is where most therapists get it wrong. Similar to the immense heat or pressure being applied to the coal, a trauma or a bad divorce or losing your job or losing someone you love to suicide is a very chaotic change and represents that huge heat being applied to your life right now. If you don't consciously create a strong cocoon to hold yourself together, your trauma could literally break you up into pieces and eat away at your self-confidence, esteem, and possibly even leave you bitter or full of resentment. There's a guy by the name of Prigogine who won the Nobel Prize for these theories on dissociative structures. And he suggested that if an organism has a strong cocoon, it can reorder itself into something way more complex. Much like a moth who transforms itself into a butterfly, all the programs we create are designed to create this cocoon so that you can withstand the heat and pressure from your trauma. What we did at Naked Divorce is we took 120 years of renowned and clinically tested PTSD and trauma processes, and we adapted them for self-use. And as this has never been done before, we called it a new therapy. We called it perturbation therapy. So you can use this perturbation therapy approach in healing from any trauma, provided you have a cocoon in place before you start on the metamorphic processes. Your transformation has a much better chance of success. Till next time.